What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ages of Film. I'm Clayton, and today, as you can tell by the title, we have our first comedy up the bat with The Other Guys, released in 2010, directed by Adam McKay, and starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. If any of you guys have not seen this movie, first I want to say get on it because it's a great comedy. But secondly, might be some spoilers here. I don't know, so just keep that as a warning to yourself. I want to say thank you to any new subscribers I have. Thank you very much for being here, for smashing that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you're enjoying the content, smash the subscribe button as well. Also, I want to recommend a few channels to all you freaks. I'll post their YouTube channel logos here for you guys to see, but Movies and Beyond, The Bearded Entertainment, Brian Lomax, and Peter Anthony's studio. Peter Anthony is an awesome dude. He puts out, it's just some awesome content over there. So make sure you go to all those channels, smash the like button, subscribe, and enjoy all their awesome content. All right, so getting into The Other Guys. So I saw this movie for the first time probably when I was in late high school. I think around my senior year. It had only been out for a little bit at the time, and there's a lot of buzz around this movie. So I remember checking it out and just laughing my socks off. From the same director that gave us Step Brothers, another awesome comedy. So yeah, if you like Step Brothers, I'm sure you'll probably like The Other Guys as well. So let's get into talking about it. Positives, negatives, and my overall rating. Just as a reminder, guys, this is just my opinion on this movie. There's no need to be offended or upset with anything that I say. If you disagree, that's fine. All I ask is to be respectful about your disagreement in the comment section. I'd love to hear your opinion on this movie. I will be respectful to your opinion as long as you stay respectful to mine. That out of the way, let's talk The Other Guys. So starting with the positives, for me, it's the humor. The humor absolutely lands for me in this movie, absolutely works. I still just laugh until I'm blue in the face from this movie. It has some very quotable lines in it. A lot of that coming from Will Ferrell's character, but Mark Wahlberg also gives us a lot of great lines in this movie. I also love the straight guy, funny guy combo that we get in this movie. I think Mark Wahlberg is a perfect cast for playing that straight guy, and Will Ferrell is obviously a great choice for playing the funny, klutz type of guy, providing a lot of the natural humor to the movie. So I don't know if it was Adam McKay's. I mean, I'm sure it was, since he was the director here, but the idea of putting those two together is just a brilliant idea. So I loved their relationship, their chemistry in this movie. They play these two cops, these two detectives that couldn't be more opposite from each other in their personality and the way that just they carry themselves and their personal lives and everything. Just very, very polar opposites in everything, and they're partners, and they have to obviously learn to get along. And it becomes quite a interesting duo that they form. There's, this crime that they're trying to solve. They don't solve it originally, and they get heat for it. It's that classic detective story of the guy trying to solve a crime. A few things go wrong. They lose their badge, get treated like crap, and then something happens where they go back and they end up busting the case through, and then they get their jobs back and they ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after. That's kind of what we get. We've gotten that same story multiple times. Dragnet is another one of those comedies that comes to my head with Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. Essentially the same story, just from the 80s. So we that's a very common story that we get. I don't have a problem giving a story that's been done multiple times. At this point in Hollywood, with 100 years of film, it gets harder and harder and harder to do original things. So everything nowadays is recycled material. I don't have a problem with that. The question is it funny? Does it work? And I would say it absolutely works, and it's absolutely funny. It hits on the comedy, and they achieve what it was that they were trying to do, which is create this comedy of these two detectives doing the typical detective type of story. So for me, it achieves what it was going for. The comedy sticks, the comedy lands. I love the relationship between Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg's characters. And I would say another thing that I like is the peripheral characters here. We have Michael Keaton in this movie playing Captain Gene, who is actually quite funny in this movie. Has some good scenes. We get Eve Mendes, who plays Will Ferrell's wife in the movie. She's great. We get Samuel L. Jackson. We get The Rock. It's got a loaded cast. It brings in it brings everybody into this movie to give to just add to the comedy, and everyone has a scene or two that will make you laugh. So yeah, I love this movie. I love going on the journey with these guys, watching their interactions. Just it's a fun ride for sure. So I also love the directing. Another positive for me is in the directing by Adam McKay. I think Adam is a very good director, especially when it comes to comedy. He really knows how to direct and how to make a banger comedy film. I don't know that there are too many directors out there that can just nail a comedy the way that McKay can nail a comedy. And I love his comedy work. He directs the movies very well. Has really good cinematography in them for comedy movies. Comedies typically tend to not necessarily have the most impressive cinematography. Adam McKay's cinematography and the other guys and in other comedies that he's done, I think is actually really good cinematography. So yeah, good little score for this movie. It's a well-made, well put together film, and I enjoy the filmmaking quality that went into this movie as well. I like the performances. I think Will Ferrell plays that straight guy brilliantly. I think Mark Wahlberg plays his character well. The performances by everybody are great. I don't think anyone is flat. I don't think anyone overdoes it or oversells anything. Everyone just hits right on key. their note. So yeah, the acting is great, the writing is great, the directing is great. I love it. I love it. Is it the most original or unique script? No. Like I said, this is material that we've gotten 100 times. But is it well put together? Can you get from point A to point B reasonably, logically? Does it at least make sense what's going on? And does it work? And it absolutely works for me. So yeah, I love this movie, guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of so many different lines from this movie. Aim for the bushes is always one that gets me, because then they jump. They're on the rock, and Samuel L. Jackson's characters are on top of this building chasing down these bad guys, and this is in the middle of the city, and they're on this building, and they just look at each other, and the rock goes, "Aim for the bushes," and they jump. And when the camera kind of pans over the building, you see that there's not a bush in sight. There's not a tree, there's not a bush, there's no green at all in sight. And they just land, splat, and become jelly, essentially. It's so the fact that he says aim for the bushes when there is nothing green in sight, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I grant that humor is very subjective. Not everyone's gonna find this movie funny. Not everyone is going to, it's not everyone's type of humor. I get it. But it definitely is my type of humor. And it definitely hits my funny bone. There's so many scenes, so many lines that to this day, when I watch this movie, I have to pause it and just let my laugh out before I continue, because I don't want to miss anything. But I have to let my laugh finish before I can continue. So yeah, love this movie. Moving into negatives, I will say there's not necessarily anything negative wise that stands out. I think for me, it's more of, okay, this is not the most original script, which again is fine, but I also think that there are some moments in the film where some of the dialogue by some of the characters I don't think is quite as good as other moments. There's moments in the film that feel a little bit feels like the pacing's off a little bit. Moments, not a lot, but there are moments where there's not really a lot going on. There's not really any humor going on. And so I kind of find myself being pulled out, but then I come right back in. It's not a lot, it's just kind of, and you can call it nitpicking or whatever, but there's just some moments that I'm not fully invested in the film. So if I was going to have any negatives with the film, that would probably be one of them. And yeah, and then I guess for me, Mark Wahlberg's character, so Eva Mendes plays Will Ferrell's wife. And Mark Wahlberg, when he meets her for the first time, he essentially falls in love with her. And he just thinks she's the most beautiful woman he's ever laid eyes on. But then he has this ex that he's also trying to get back with. And at the end of the movie, he gets back with his ex. but still on the side is like really attracted to Will Ferrell's wife, and is still like even asks her to be his best man at his wedding, which is also kind of funny. But to me, I don't know. It just, the character, I think, didn't really need that. Like, you could you didn't necessarily need the character to be so infatuated with Will Ferrell's wife if you're going to have him be trying to get his ex back in the end and going for that. But when you're trying to have both there, it just doesn't feel right. You feel like, I want to like this character, but he's also kind of playing, playing the fence here. He wants to get married to his ex, says that he loves her, but on the side he's like totally infatuated with another man's wife. So yeah, I don't know that necessarily played out well. I think you have to choose one or the other. Either don't throw in the love story with Mark Wahlberg's ex-girlfriend, and then the infatuation with Will Ferrell's wife would have worked better, or, not have that infatuation thing and have him try to get, his ex-girlfriend back. But when you try to force both of those in, I don't know that it really lands fully for me. So yeah, that would be just another, again, more of a minor issue. There's nothing here that really just bothers me with the film. So yeah, that's about it. My overall rating, guys, for this movie is 4 stars, 4 out of 5. I love this movie. It's a great comedy, great film. It absolutely works. The chemistry between Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg is money. Absolutely lands. And it's very well put together. They achieved what it was they were going for. It's very rewatchable. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. The Other Guys. Those are my thoughts on the movie. Let me know in the comment section, what would you rate this movie? Do you agree with my rating, my thoughts? Let me know anything and everything you wanted to say about this movie in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, kick it and rock on.